Hello, my name is Madison Henry, and today I will be discussing why socialism is a better economic system than capitalism. Capitalism has been a fundamental pillar of the American identity since our country's inception. It is American as apple pie, independence, and guns. And as Americans, we have been primed to believe that capitalism and democracy are interchangeable and intertwined. But what has this allowed us to normalize? We oftentimes look at other people and say, they're just not working hard enough. We tell them to pick themselves up by their bootstraps. A phrase originally meant to convey doing the impossible has turned into something we chant at some of the most disenfranchised and vulnerable people in our society. This has always bothered me as someone who values people. I love politics and I take pride in being politically active, but in order to be responsible, I have to be politically educated. I have taken the time to educate myself on the various economic systems, and I've come to the conclusion that a socialist economic system is the most beneficial economic system we have for the average American. Socialism is the economic philosophy that is based around collective ownership of the means of production and resources. Socialism protects the average American by putting people over profit and by prioritizing human needs. The main source of debt to the average American is medical debt. Medical debt often prohibits economic development and class mobility in American households. A critique of socialism you will oftentimes hear from capitalists is that pretty soon you'll start running out of other people's money. But the truth is, the US is the richest country in the world, and we are very, very far away from running out of other people's money to support our citizens. Let's look at the most obvious social program there is, universal health care. And according to PubMed, the National Library of Medicine, a universal health care system would result in 30% savings in healthcare expenditure annually, and that is equivalent to $450 billion annually. We currently spend $5 trillion on healthcare annually. Now, let's compare our healthcare system to socialist countries. We're going to look at Cuba. According to the New York Times, Cuba spends less on their healthcare system than America, but in turn, they have a better life expectancy rate and lower infant mortality rate. The only issue with Cuba is that they oftentimes have supply shortages due to the embargo that America has placed on them. While America's healthcare system has better innovation, it fails in access and equity. Capitalism also incentivizes our current healthcare system by putting profit over people by allowing lobbying. In 2024, according to the National Health Institute, the hospital industry spent $116 million in federal lobbying, with 60% coming from hospitals and 40% from associations. This shows that healthcare policy is influenced by well-resourced hospitals which displays that hospitals do not have an equal say and an equal voice. Another big factor in healthcare policy is lobbying from insurance companies, the middleman. The United States is the only high-income country that does not have universal health care. And according to the National Health Institute, 36 million Americans are uninsured and 40 million don't have adequate healthcare coverage. And according to Physicians for National Health Program, 44,789 Americans die annually from lack of health care. Compared to other high-earning countries, the U.S. ranks last overall in healthcare outcomes. Privatized healthcare has been consistently driving up the price for healthcare costs since the 1980s for Americans. The private healthcare system profits about $670 billion annually. Capitalism incentivizes predatory practices by healthcare companies because they put profit over people and they only care about their bottom line. The lobbying allowed under capitalism results in companies buying out politicians in favor of making their bottom line, resulting in many premature deaths of Americans in extreme financial debt. Socialism succeeds where capitalism fails. It aims to protect people where capitalism allows the free market to dictate people's survival. Adoption of a socialist government and healthcare system allows for better healthcare outcomes overall for Americans without the financial strain of medical debt, which also allows for more class mobility. Thank you so much for listening. Have a beautiful day. That's why socialism is better than capitalism.